Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode on DNA Hardwired, common sense turned upside down. My name is Pop, and with me is my co-host Jackie. And also today we have a special guest, Aaron. This is Jackie's brother. So we're looking forward to an exciting episode today. What we're doing is we're going to continue with our discussion that we started a couple weeks ago. And also I want to apologize for us not being on air last week. I ended up coming down with a little cold, so that was on me last week. But we're back, and we're going to go ahead and continue on the subject of racist and racism. I know 2 weeks ago we had discussed President Trump and his video of Barack and Michelle Obama being depicted as monkeys, and so we kind of talked a little bit about that.
We already started. We
already started. So I'll tell you what. Let's do this right here. Since Aaron's a guest and he's new on the show, hopefully he's listened to some of our past episodes. Aaron, why don't you go ahead and get started? You don't necessarily have to just jump right into racism, but give us your initial thoughts about some of the previous episodes maybe, and then the thing about racism. Give us your initial thoughts.
To be totally honest with you, man, to start, I think I'm personally unaffected by racism. I'm basically from Mississippi, man. It's something that you kind of get used to. You know, people don't like you. That's nothing is new. If it wasn't racism, there'd be another ism to classify a group of people that didn't like me for some reason or another. So totally honest with you, it's more about, just not bringing it back to the conversation from last week. I mean, adding to the president conversation, but it's for me, man. I don't have those feelings.
Okay, understandable. So it sounds like. Well, let me ask you this question, Aaron. Do you acknowledge that racism exists?
Yes.
Okay. Good. You acknowledge that it exists, but you personally, Jackie will tell you, I'll put words in your mouth sometime, but it sounds like what you're saying is that even though you acknowledge that it exists, is it that you don't see how it affects you personally? It doesn't. I get your take yet.
Right. I don't see how it personally affects me. Like, I can't think of a president that's been in the White House that wasn't racist. So to tell me now that we have one that's in the White House that is racist, like, wow, what's new? Like, what's the conversation about?
Yeah.
Like, there's never been anybody in there that gave us any legislation that benefited us to begin with. So,
I love you, brother. I can tell. I already love you. Did I just hear you? Aaron, did I? And I get a little loud. I get a little loud sometime, Aaron, so I got to catch myself. But did I just hear you say that you're not aware of any previous legislation by any previous administration that benefited you personally?
Right.
Now, are you sure?
Like,
now, are you sure? Are you sure? Do we understand what we're saying?
I'm absolutely aware of what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
And
so go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, the reason I'm saying that is, I mean, we could throw in topics like affirmative action. We gave that up.
Well, say that again. Say that again, Aaron. Say that again now. What'd you say?
I said, even if we brought in the topic of affirmative action, we lost that under a black president. So So
let's stop. Hold on. I'm old. Jackie didn't tell you, but I'm old and I'm kind of slow, so it takes me a minute to catch up. So under President Obama, the only black president we've ever had, you say we lost affirmative action.
Yeah.
Explain, if you don't mind. Explain how that happened.
I mean, we turned it into a show for gays. We turned it into a show to include white women. Simply put, once you added white women, it was no longer affirmative action.
Say that again. Say that again. I missed that, Aaron. Say that again.
Once white women were added to affirmative action,
okay.
it was no longer affirmative action.
Okay. Now here's what you have to understand about affirmative action. This is a misunderstanding that maybe you have that so many people have. Affirmative action wasn't for black people. See, that's the misunderstanding. That's one of the misunderstandings. Let me lower my voice. That's one of the misunderstandings so many of us had. If you really look up affirmative action and look up the definition of it, it doesn't say for black people. Women was always part of affirmative action.
I said white women.
Okay, white women, black women, basically folks who wasn't, and the only people that really wasn't included in affirmative action from the get was non-disabled white males. That's probably the only group that was never included in affirmative action. Even white disabled males were included in affirmative action.
Understood, right?
Okay.
However, when your specifics for affirmative action says that, hey, if I own, take for instance, if I say that simply put 6% of my employees have to be women, that's the easiest thing to accomplish with a wife. That's the easiest thing to accomplish with a partner. You can partner with anybody, and as long as they have a small population of employees that you could justify that, simply put affirmative action out the window. You take it away with a pen, man. Anything that you can give and take away with a pen, I can promise you, it doesn't give you any significance as it pertains to equality.
Well,
giving that, including white women in there, including white men in there. Thanks for letting me know that, because now I know we never had it. Well, so that means every president.
Like I said,
my first stand.
But like I said, Aaron, you have to understand. You don't have to, but it would be helpful to understand the definition of affirmative action and what the intent and purpose of affirmative action was and is. It was never going to be perfect. You was always going to have people that was going to use the system. You had healthy white males who was abusing affirmative action. What they were doing was, like you said, they were getting females, women, black, white women, Asian women, didn't matter. They were women. They were getting black males, disabled. And they were using those people as a front to front their businesses. So they were abusing the system. Don't get me wrong, brother. I understand the system was never perfect and it will never be perfect. But for me, I just want to look at the intent of it. Also, you had made a comment about Barack Obama. I have to say, I don't understand why we as black people, especially black men, are trying to find ways to demonize Barack Obama. Now, keep in mind what you said. You said under the black president, white women, you said white women was added to affirmative action under Barack Obama. That's not true.
I can't remember the exact context that was added during the time that he was in office. But absolutely during his administration, affirmative action was done away with.
No, it's not. It wasn't. Affirmative action has been severely damaged under the Trump administration.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I'll do, Aaron, and because I like facts and I like representation, I like a reliable source. So what I will do is I'm going to get some information to you specifically during the Biden administration and what was going on with affirmative action. But I can guarantee you, brother, no way was affirmative action harmed or damaged under Barack Obama. But anyway, like I said, but I want your input. So that was one of the things, one of the inputs, and I cut you off. Give me some more if you don't mind, as far as your thoughts on racism.
To be totally honest with you, it's kind of that cut and dry for me. Like I don't really pay it any attention. I just look at that's another individual that doesn't like me.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
I got you. And I will be honest with you. I mean, I'm not blind to the fact that there's a lot of folks, and I'll have to. Me and your brother, we had talked about definitions, like we talked about prejudice, racism, those types of things, and so we went over terminology a lot. And I have to acknowledge that me as an individual, I definitely have a prejudice. One of my prejudices is that, and this is a stereotype, but I'm naive to the possibility that the average white person is at a minimum. They're at a minimum prejudice against me. That's just my own personal thought. So don't get me wrong. I acknowledge that this thing exists, and that there's really not. Well, I'm not going to say there ain't a whole lot we can do about it. I think there's a lot we can do about it, and there's a lot we have been doing about it. This is one of the things we can talk about it. We can discuss and get input. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jackie. I don't know if you've been kind of quiet. Me and Aaron's kind of left you out of the conversation. Go ahead, brother.
To talk about the affirmative action piece, white women was always added to their program since 1967. However, when Obama was during his presidency, his expansion of the program significantly benefited white women, particularly in government contracting. That was the deal.
Explain it to me. Explain how it significantly benefited white women specifically. Explain that to me, please.
I think it was 2011. I think it was.
Okay.
Where the implementation of the Women-Owned Small Business Program, 2011.
Okay.
And that was one of the significant pieces that leaned that act into benefiting white women.
So let me ask you a question. Did it specifically?
Hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Let me get it all out.
All right, go ahead.
Let me get it all out.
Go ahead.
Because white women have always had their white men. So now you have both of them sitting over there getting a benefit from that program. That's where it leaned towards white women. That WOSB program that was initiated in 11, that's where it came from. And that was one of the reasons he got some pushback.
Okay. See, here's what I think people need to understand about a black president, a white president, or Asian president. It don't matter what nationality the president is, or race, or sex for that matter. That president is supposed to represent all people. That's what that president's supposed to do, is represent all people. So there are some programs that may appear to benefit a certain group of people over another group at certain times. That's why it always amazed me when black people say Barack Obama never did anything for black people. What the hell does that mean? What was he supposed to do for black people?
My point, I'm not suggesting that he should have done anything significant for black people. But the other side of that is don't sit over here and criticize Trump when you think he's doing something significant for his side, his racial side of the aisle.
So let me ask you this then. So are you gonna explain this to me? Tell me this, please. Are you telling me, as far as racism goes, prejudice, racism, whatever you want to call it, are you suggesting to me that you don't see any difference the way President Obama treated race versus the way Donald Trump is treating race now? You don't see any difference?
Oh, I can tell you the difference.
No, I'm just asking. Answer that question first, and then tell me the difference. Answer the question first, and then tell me the difference, if there is any.
Difference. You're dog right. There's a difference.
Okay, all right, then go ahead. Now go ahead. Go ahead.
Trump is out. He's outside with his. He's outside with his. Barack Obama, it was quiet over there. Whatever he did for, if he was to do anything for this side of the aisle, it was quiet, if anything. But what he did for the LGBT community, for women out there, it was outside. Everybody knew about it. Trump is just voices with how he feels about all races. He don't really give a shit. Matter of fact, he doesn't care if he hurts his own race. He doesn't care. That's the way he moves. But the people that's behind him, like the Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, the people, the upper echelon income people, those super wealthy people. Oh yeah, it's no question who he's supporting or who's supporting him and who he's speaking for. He's speaking for that elite bunch.
Okay.
Part of the issues with the Democrat side of it is this right here. Like I said on it before, and you and I said this before. The Republicans are playing to win. They don't care how you feel about the way they're winning. They are playing to win. The Democrats, everybody need to have a voice, and everyone needs to agree. Trump don't care if you agree or disagree with him. Well, if you disagree with him, he don't really give a shit.
I can't argue with that.
That's okay then. So with that being said, where was that voice when say Obama or Clinton, all these Democrats are always pushing these social programs? Where was these voices when they were in office? They're silent. They're quiet. Except when it came to the LGBT community and the not offending of white women. When you start offending white women, white men get mad. Now you're going to see who really is out.
Well, I guess I must have been missing something most of my adult life. And then even, checking back, going through history, doing research. But I could have sworn that we just had a civil rights leader that just passed this week. And I would suspect that he would not agree with Jackie and Aaron as far as what the Democratic Party has done and is doing for minorities. I would suspect that Reverend Jesse Jackson, I could be wrong, if he was alive today, I would suspect that he would not agree with what you guys are saying. And he was one of the pioneers as far as advancements of black folk primarily, but minorities. Do you think he would agree with what you? Let me ask you that question. Do you think either one of you guys can answer this question? Do you think, based upon what both of you guys are saying, would you think that Martin Luther King, do you think that Jesse Jackson, some of the other leaders out there, do you think that they would agree with what you're saying about as far as what the Democrats have done for minority blacks in particular? Would you think they would agree?
No, I think they benefited from it. I think they benefited handsomely from the government from it. So no, I don't think they would agree. Let's not. Rest in peace to Jesse Jackson. But this is not a conversation we should have him in. Like, my true feelings about Jesse, we should probably, leave me out of that particular conversation. There was a guy that was lynched, man, when I was in high school, who played basketball for this school for this area high school called West Marion. That kid was hung in his front yard, man. And Jesse Jackson came down there. And he stayed for like 2 days, man. And after 2 days, he left as a result of that family not having $20,000 to give him. So I hear you, Pop, but that's a sensitive subject, bringing that guy up to me.
I will agree with you, Aaron. I've had some mixed feelings about Jesse on some of the things, especially when he said what he said about Barack Obama about cutting his balls off or something like that. But overall, though, when I look at Jesse's life overall and what he has done for the advancement of especially black folk, I think he did a lot overall. Now, I can't deny what you said. I understand it. I get it. Only thing I can say is that none of us are going to be perfect. There are going to be things that we're going to do in life. If we look back at it, we'd probably regret doing it. Wish we hadn't have done it. Might do it differently. And I'm thinking that Jesse's no different. But when I take his life on a whole, when I take Martin Luther's life on a whole, when I take some of these other leaders' life on a whole. All I'm saying is, I'm talking, Aaron's talking, Jackie's talking. What the hell do we know about anything? But if you take some of these people who were on the front lines of these movements, what do you think they might think, or what do you think they might say? Then I think we kind of get a better perspective of maybe what's really going on. And that was the only reason I thought I'd ask that question. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and, Aaron, you don't really know me, but I'm really active on Facebook. I have to tell you. Are you on Facebook?
Okay.
Are you on Facebook, Aaron?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not active at all.
Yeah, but if you're on, I'm still going to hook you up. We're going to have to connect. I'll tell you what I did. Back when, a couple weeks ago, we had the Super Bowl, and I want to get you guys' opinion on this too. But a few weeks ago, we had the Super Bowl, and who was the highlight of that Super Bowl? Remember?
What's the dude halftime show?
The halftime show.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah. Bad Bunny. So me personally, I don't watch the Super Bowl, and I don't watch the halftime. Not that I have anything against it. It's just not my. I just don't watch it, right? But I was listening to all of the clamor, uproar about Bad Bunny. I had never heard of this dude Bad Bunny until a couple months ago, right? So I went ahead. Well, let me ask you this. I'm gonna get you guys' initial thoughts before I tell you about my posts and some of my reactions. But what are you guys' initial thoughts on that? Why don't you go ahead first, Aaron, since you're the guest?
Well, initially, man, like I said, I know nothing about this guy. I don't know nothing about his music. I do know that there was some sort of issue related to him performing at the Super Bowl and performing the song in the language that he actually sung the song in, and that was a part of the issue. Not sure if that was the full context, but if that was basically, that's all I can truly speak to. And I think that's absolutely crazy to ask a person to sing their hit song in another language so that you feel comfortable in the States. Like, this man is an international artist.
Uh-huh.
I don't see the issue there. I think it's more fake uproar than anything.
Okay. Jackie?
I saw that performance. The question I had during the Super Bowl was, why did they bring this guy over here and didn't have American artists?
Now, stop, brother. Now, be careful what you're saying. Maybe Aaron will correct you. And if he heard what you just said, what did you say about bringing this guy over here and not having an American artist? Did you see anything wrong with that statement, Aaron?
What?
Not having an American artist for the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No, man, I got 22 of them.
Well, let me first of all, let's be sure here. Bad Bunny is an American. He's an American citizen.
Okay, I didn't know that. Y'all don't know anything about it. Just be honest.
Oh, okay. I didn't either. I didn't either. I'll be honest with you. I didn't either. But he's an American citizen. So I just wanted to correct that first. But go ahead, Brother Jackie.
Okay, I stand corrected then.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it there because
okay.
I don't know enough.
Okay. And I think that was the problem with a lot of us. We initially heard that they're gonna have this guy, this dude called Bad Bunny, and he's gonna be performing at halftime, and he's gonna be doing it in Spanish. And I think some of us, that's all it took for us was that. So what I did was, like I said, I never heard this dude prior to 2 to 3 weeks ago. So what I did was there was some research on him, and I found out he's Puerto Rican. He's from Puerto Rico. All right. So he's an American citizen. So
right.
I looked into how long was his performance. How long do you think his halftime performance was? If you just had to take a rough guess, how long do you think it was?
He was the only artist, right?
No, they had other artists.
Yeah.
No, they had other artists.
They
But he was the main one.
On the halftime show?
Yeah, he was the main one
You know
though.
how much of the hat? That lets you know how much of the halftime show I watch.
Okay, okay. But just a rough guess. How many minutes? I'm going to tell you it was minutes. How many minutes do you, just take a wild, crazy guess. How many minutes do you think it was? His performance in Spanish.
15, 20.
Oh, brother, you close. You knocking on the door. His performance was 13 minutes. It was his performance. It was 13 minutes. Do you know, I don't know if either one of you guys smoke, but you know how long it takes the average smoker to smoke a cigarette? Okay. The whole halftime show lasted 25 to 30 minutes. The whole show. It lasted a halftime. Okay. The whole Super Bowl lasted 3.5 to 4 hours. 3.5 to 4 hours. That's approximately 240 minutes. 240 minutes. This guy performed for 13 of those 240 minutes, and the world went crazy because he did it in Spanish. Also, I don't know if you realize it, but the U.S. is the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world after Mexico. The second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world after Mexico. So again, we're talking about race in my mind. We're talking about racism. And so was it really the 13 minutes or was it something else? Are these the same people who say, if you're in my presence, don't be speaking Spanish? I don't want you speaking Spanish in my presence. You speak English. I went to Vietnam back in 67 and 68. And while I was over there, you guys, Jackie, Aaron, did you serve in the military?
Not at all.
Okay. Jackie did. I did. It was very common for us Americans to go to another country and demand those native speakers to speak English. When I was in Vietnam for 12 months, constantly, there was Americans making demands that these Vietnamese people speak English. So that really impacted me, this thing about for 13 minutes, you can't speak Spanish. But anyway, that was my thoughts on Bad Bunny and the halftime show. I don't know if you guys got any other follow up. Go ahead.
So give me your take on that, Pop. What did you see?
As far as their outrage?
What did you see if you saw the halftime show or listening to the outrage on Facebook? What's being said? Because I hadn't seen anything. I ain't even heard anything. I didn't know a lot of people had a problem with it until now.
Yeah. Well, some of the things I was hearing was some of the things we kind of talked about. I heard one of the things folks were talking about was that that the Super Bowl, like it was this I forgot the proper wording, but it was something to do like it was like something that was cherished, and it was as American pie, and it was being desecrated because here's this foreign speaking guy singing this song in a foreign language. It was all of that kind of talk. And again, my thoughts were, and maybe because I'm so damn liberal, my thoughts were, wait a minute. wait a minute. This is America. This is America. This was my thought. There's all kind of people in America. And we can't give a certain group of people, Spanish speakers, 13 minutes? That was my thought. And for me, now I could be wrong, and Aaron, you don't really know me, but I have to acknowledge that I make a lot of assumptions, and I appreciate people when they check me, and say, now look, Pop, that's just your opinion. That's your opinion. That's your assumption. So I assume that these people have a degree of racism in them. Because, I mean, especially, that's what we've been talking about. I kind of thought that these people had a serious degree of racism in them.
I hate to bring it back to just the conversation of prejudice.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying, right?
Right.
I respect what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying.
Right.
What's wrong with prejudice? The only problem I have with prejudice is that Black people don't practice none. We don't practice any prejudice that allows us to grow.
Uh-huh.
Like there's no prejudice practice that we have that we can implement, that we have implemented since I could say the past 50 years, that I could say that brought us together in any way, gave us any sort of community in any way. So I don't have an issue with another group that actually does understand Pan-Africanism or prejudice. I just hate the fact that we don't.
Yeah. Well, see, my problem with racism, prejudice, I think we all have a degree of prejudice about us. I personally think. I mean, for me, you could be prejudiced against anything. There are certain foods I'm prejudiced against. I've never eaten that food, but I've already formed an opinion that I don't like it. But my problem is when that prejudice cross over into racism, and because primarily prejudice is a thought process. Racism kind of make that transition into action. And when you have certain people that are in positions to where they can exert a degree of authority and power, because like Trump right now, he's the president of the United States of America. Look at the things that he is actually doing that affects. Now, when you say me personally, I own a home. When Trump became president, I still own that home. Own a couple cars, got a little bit of a bank account. None of that I could tell was affected. As a matter of fact, he helped my bank account. The stock, I hate to say he did it, but while he was in office, the stock market went up. All that's great. So kind of like what you were saying a little earlier, Aaron, about personally, I know that there are certain things me personally, the things that Donald Trump has done and is doing or not doing is not affecting me personally. But overall, as a group of people, what he is doing to the poor, to other minorities, it's having an effect, and I see it. And the racism thing with him taking away black stuff, so to speak, pictures, taking down pictures, and all this other putting up stuff about Michelle Obama and Barack being monkeys. I mean, that translates, as far as I'm concerned, that translates to me being a monkey. And I'm offended by that.
Didn't that whole video? In that same video, my understanding, Joe Biden was a monkey too.
Brother, don't fall for the okie doke.
Look at it.
Brother, no. See, Jackie, this is what people do to us, and we fall for it. You're not going to find a picture of Joe Biden being a monkey in that video. You're not going to find it.
Yeah, I bet. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go back and look at that?
Yeah. You go back and look at it. You ain't going to find it. See, that's the problem. People trying to justify this deviant behavior of Donald Trump. Did you, brother Jackie? Mm-hmm. You're aware of what you've heard of the Congressional Medal of Honor. I know you have, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is how wild this man is. This is how crazy he is, right? Do you know he said that he had thought about awarding himself the Congressional Medal of Honor?
What would you expect him to do anything different? He think he's the greatest president that ever got elected.
But I'm just
in the midst of over 30 felony convictions, we put him back in office as a president. Why wouldn't he get the Congressional Medal of Honor?
Now, Jackie, I don't know about Aaron. But you voted for him. What the hell? Come on now.
Look. I bought it.
And you said you vote for him again. And you said you'd vote for him again.
Yes, I said that. I'm not going to stand on that because I still stand by what I said initially. When Trump said black people, what do y'all have to lose? I was one of the ones that rock hit me.
Are you seeing what we're losing?
I'm looking at.
Are you seeing what we're losing? Do you know how many black people lost jobs through this federal thing?
What federal thing?
When they fired all those federal employees.
The government shut down.
Okay.
No, not just the shutdown, not just the shutdown, but the firing of all of those people. Do you know there was a large percentage of them, unproportionately, that were black? He did that. So what can he do for you? He can fire your ass. And that's what he did.
I get he fired me, but I don't work for the federal government.
No, I'm just saying.
And nobody in the military. Hold on, and no one in the military got fired.
What did you just say? What did you just say? Look, let me tell you something. You gotta you gotta remember. You gotta remember, I keep up with this shit. They say I got Trump, what is that, Trump, derangement syndrome? I keep up with Trump, the shit that Trump does. Do you know how many high-ranking military leaders that man has fired?
He fired. He could not kick them out of the military part. There's a difference, and you know that. You can lose your job.
Jackie, here you go again. Jackie, here you go again. You're going to distinguish between being fired from the military and being fired from your position in the military.
We all know generals that lost their command. We've all known squadron commanders that lost their command because they did something stupid. So let's not pretend.
So now we're going to insinuate, yes, we're going to insinuate that these black people lost their jobs because they did something wrong. Is that what we're insinuating now?
No. I didn't say that. I said we all know people in the military part that were squadron commanders, that were base commanders, that lost they got fired from their position, but they still get a check on the 1st and the 15th. They were just moved to another base.
Jackie, are you kidding me? Let me tell you something.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. See, I was a victim of at least twice, no doubt about it. That's why I retired from the DOD federal workforce. I was a victim of racism, right? Not being promoted, blatant, at least twice. And let me tell you something. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And I can verify if you would like, I can verify that to you through some independent witnesses that was part of that. Matter of fact, one of the people, he's still a friend of mine, but he worked in EEO. He actually he saw both of my cases, but one of them, he actually represented me in one of my cases. He can tell you firsthand what happened. So no, I didn't mean to kind of get off track, but I'm just saying what this man and his administration is doing to black folks, since we want to be specific and talk about black folk.
And I understand that. The only point, I'm not suggesting that what you went through wasn't racism. I'm suggesting that when you say fired and it comes to military personnel, you and I both know you're not fired. You didn't lose any money. You're not collecting unemployment. You still getting a check on the 1st and the 15th, even though you've been removed from your position.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to agree with you.
Why,
this is one thing.
I don't know why.
Aaron,
know why.
This is one thing about me. When you catch me, if I'm wrong, I think I'm wrong. If I think I need to back up a little bit, I'll back up. So I'm going to back up for Brother Jackie. He said, right, the people weren't fired. And in most cases, they did not, they were not removed from the military. I'm going to give Brother Jackie that. But I guess they should feel good about that. They were demoted from their position. They were removed from their high-ranking position. So I guess maybe they should feel okay about that. So I will give Brother Jackie that one. I'll give that to him. But nonetheless, there were still some DOD civilians who lost their jobs. They got fired. They didn't get demoted. They got fired. Okay? And people don't understand this. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, I had a guy, never mind, I'm not going to get into that part of it. But we have to understand that we have to understand that proportionately, ratio-wise, there are a lot of blacks who have government jobs. And I have to tell you, you think Trump and his administration didn't know that? Do you think that that was not one of the reasons they went after the federal government? They were trying to get rid of minorities, black people primarily. Now, we can fool ourselves if we want to, but for those of us that's been in the system long enough and know how the system works, we read between the lines. And that's just what they did. There's a ton of black folk that end up losing their federal jobs. And there's a lot of people that's happy about it. And it's because of Trump and his cronies and racism. That's what it is. I have to tell you, Brother Jackie, again, and Aaron, when somebody say, hey, Pop, I think you're wrong on this one, I have to check myself. So we did have a couple of folks give us some feedback. A friend of mine actually gave me some feedback and said that they felt that you brought up some valid points, and that I didn't give you a chance to fully explain your points about racism. It was actually a point you were making about men not having a choice in terminating a pregnancy. Somehow we got involved with that, and that the decision was.
You're talking about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And that the decision was solely the mother's. And I disagreed with you. And this person said that that I didn't really give you a chance to fully explain what you were saying, and they agreed with what you were saying. My thing is that they were saying that you were saying once the pregnancy had happened, once there was a birth, then maybe the male had some input. But as far as whether or not there was going to be an abortion, that was 100% on the woman, and evidently she felt that I didn't give you a chance to make that point. And I do agree with that. In the case of whether or not there's going to be an abortion, the man can have input, but in the final analysis, I would agree that, that, hey, the woman is the one, the mother's the one that'll probably make that decision. So I'm going to give you that one, brother. I don't know if you wanted to follow up on that one or not.
Pop, you said
So what there?
Pop, you said the final analysis. No, like that's a way of skipping over it for me. It's not a final analysis. He has the only analysis.
Okay. Say that again, Aaron.
Once she checks that stick, once she checks that stick, or however she finds out, see that line of the double lines, however it works out, you have no choice as a dude. If you're going to be a father, she's deciding that. If you're not going to be a father, she's deciding that 100%. So it's not like he has any sort of say so.
Right.
That was my point.
Right.
After conception, I'm sorry. After sex, he has, and Ayanna Van Zant said this. A woman said this. The men have just been repeating it on behind the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Ayanna Van Zant said, after the act itself, once your semen leaves your body, you have no control over what's done with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost legislated, ain't it? Isn't that the situation that what's the artist? Drake was in?
Or was that Drake? Was that Drake? Yeah, that was Drake. That was Drake.
Yeah, where he supposedly put some sort of I guess it was hot sauce, like
that. Hot sauce.
And I guess she tried to sue him related to it. Basically saying that his DNA material wasn't his the moment it left him. He no longer had any sort of say so over it.
Mm-hmm.
And Pop, I don't know if you know the details of that situation, but as I understand it, Drake used protection, finished it, tied it up, he put hot sauce in the condom, tied it up, threw it in the trash. She went in there and grabbed it and inserted it, injected and put it inside her body, then tried to sue him because it was hot sauce in it and it burnt her.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that.
It never came up after that.
What was that again, Aaron?
The conversation that never came up after that is the stigma. I said the conversation that never came up after that is the stick mentality that it would take to go and look at something like that, knowing that the color is absolutely wrong, and still insert it to yourself.
Right.
If it wasn't correct, if it wasn't something that he put in there, simply put, it had to be bodily fluid, blood. But you mean to tell me you would look at this and pour this back into you?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a sick individual, man.
And if that color is that far, because hot sauce is a distinct color, still gonna look at it and say something got to be wrong with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the color coming out of his body.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
She didn't decide to go and get herself checked. She decided to go and sue him.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And the fact that she could bring that to a court, man, lets you know how far off we are with justice.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm just saying, okay. I know you're reading something else, Paul. I know you have another one out there.
Okay. Well, that was
feedback.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. But yeah, there was a couple of occasions where I got some feedback, and they felt that that I didn't really give you enough of a chance to really fully express yourself. So I'm acknowledging that. I'll work on that, Brother Jackie. I'll work on that.
No, we good.
Okay. Yeah.
We good. I know. At the end of the day, I know. Hey, this is part of the show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
This is part of it. I appreciate. At big picture, I appreciate the audience listening.
Right.
That's what I do appreciate. I appreciate you guys taking your time on the Sunday, giving us an hour or so.
There you go.
Of your time. So.
There you go. Okay.
Absolutely.
Brother Aaron. Again, like I say, I make some assumptions, and I acknowledge that. And one of the questions in my mind, I've asked Jackie this on more than one occasion, and it has to do with and racism is tied into this, and it has to do with, and I think we may have kind of slightly touched on it a little bit earlier in our conversation. But I just have such a problem understanding. Let's try to accept a couple of what I think are facts. Today in American politics, when we vote, typically when we vote, we have a choice to either vote for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Do we all agree on that? Typically, those are our two choices.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. And we're going to get in some more detail as far as specifics on some of the policy difference with these two parties. But generally, over the last 50 to 75 years, and again, neither party has been perfect, and I acknowledge that neither party has been perfect. But if we had to make a bet, if we had to put some money on it, and we were being honest about it, over the last 50 to 75 years, keeping in mind, neither party has been perfect. Which party do you think has done the most for the advancement, and I'm going to be specific, for the advancement of black people over the last 50 to 75 years or so? Which party do you think has done the most, not 100%, but done the most for the advancement of black people, Republican or Democratic Party?
I mean, the sentiment from the question, I want to lean toward Democrat, but the economist in me says Republican.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something though, Aaron. That's good. I'm glad to hear you say it. I'm glad to hear you say that. Now here's what I want you to do for yourself. Do some research and look at, you said The Economist?
Yeah.
And so basically I think you're saying that as far as the economy under those different administrations, who does better? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not so much as they do better, the rhetoric is better.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
And
I'll give you that one. That the rhetoric is better for the Republicans, but in actuality, if you go back through history and look, you're going to see that under the Democratic administrations, the economy, the people do better under Democrats versus Republican. That's a fact. Go back and check
I guarantee you that was a Democrat-funded study.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Like I said, do your own research. do your own research, and you find me some other folks that are saying that it does better under the Republicans. You do your own research, and you do me a favor. I'm serious. I really want to know, because through my research, I couldn't find it. I couldn't even find Republicans saying, no, I couldn't even find Republicans saying that the economy was better under Republicans than Democrats. I couldn't even find Republicans saying it. So again, I'm sure I missed some stuff. So that's why I would really appreciate it, Aaron. If you found that, please send that to me, because that would affect my thought process about that. What do you think, Jackie?
Well, you had already asked me this question.
Right.
I think that on the previous show. This is my take.
Okay.
When the Democrats, they say what we're going to do, and I remember as a child listening to the Jimmy Carters, that bunch, saying what they were going to do, X, Y, Z, and it's all fine and dandy. But from listening to my parents, I was a young kid at the time. I never saw that come to light.
Mm-hmm.
Then as I got older, I began to look at, you begin to look at not so much policies, but when you begin to look at what the foundation of what each party is like, is about. It seems to me that the Republican Party is about less government, more free enterprise, standing on your own.
I agree with that.
Going to get it out the mud.
I agree with that.
And so based off of that, by watching the older generation I came up around, that from the standpoint of they didn't believe that the government was going to ever happen, so they was going to have to go get it out the mud anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That demographic went out there, and they, however they did it, they took lemons and made lemonade. Aaron and I got a grandfather that had a 6th grade education, that amassed probably about 56 acres of land. He was his own farmer, this, that, and that. So I got a firsthand experience, a front row seat of someone that was limited in education, but went out and figured out a way to make it happen. And it was in the midst of the Jim Crow, racist South, all that this was done. So I believe that the Republican Party takes down certain barriers to get into being able to stand on your own. So that's a long, drawn-out answer, but that's the way I see it. So before I can start pointing the finger and continue to say what I'm not getting from you, I have to have a conversation with me and like, okay, what are you doing for yourself?
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what we'll do, if you guys don't mind. Because right now I think we're mainly speaking from our heart and what we think and what we feel. Let's try to do this, because I still have a problem with this question. Because in my mind, it's been obvious who supports minorities, specifically blacks, over the last 50 to 75 years. Who's been supporting us more, whether it's been the Republican, Democratic Party. So let's do this. Let's for next week, hopefully, Aaron, you can come back. Let's make a list. It may be a little boring, but let's make a list of the things in the last 50 to 75 years that you feel, and let's try to base it on facts. Point your source if you can. Let's point out the things that we think that the Republicans have done. You guys do it for the Republicans, because I'm convinced that the Democrats have by far done more to assist black folk over the last 50 to 75 years than the Republicans. And then I'll do it for the Democrats. And then we'll match our lists up next week. Is that a deal?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. Also, you know, Aaron, I didn't tell you, but we've got 2 different platforms that we're running on here. And one of them is the actual host of this podcast, which is something called Podbean. And it's rare, but every now and then we'll get some listeners that will actually chime in. And what I have is there's an individual who's been making some comments, and I'm sorry that I hadn't been paying attention, but let me just read some of these comments that this person has made here, and some of it, may match up and make sense, and probably some of it won't, because I didn't address this person as they were speaking. But one of the things they said was, there's nothing man can say legally can do to make someone have a baby. So that was one of their responses. There's nothing man can say legally, and then it says can do to make someone have a baby. That's one of the things. Another response here was, the men have all the options, but he gotta get the pull-up method down right. If that's not right, he has nothing to say after that. I think we understand. I think what y'all tell me what the man is saying. What's he saying? The men have all the options, but he got to get the pull-up method down right. If that's not right, he's got nothing to say. What's he talking about?
Hey, Bob, look, I get it. They said the pull-up. He talking about the pull-out method.
Pull out.
Basically, what they're saying, in a man's weakest moment, he feels supposed to be strong, so he still don't get a break.
Okay, so
coming from a person that absolutely agrees with him, I truly feel that. I mean, we're only talking about post the bad decision.
Right.
Okay.
Post that bad decision. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing we can do.
Okay.
Hey, most of the men that I know go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead.
I said most of the men that I know that when we sit around and had these conversations over the years, the first 4 or 5 years in the military, when you're young, you just run around with no hat on. Every morning had left. Every man I know left a dorm room that he didn't belong to, thinking in his mind, I hope she's not pregnant.
The good old days. Wow. So another response from this individual. The response was just no. Again, I wish I was keeping up, but I don't know what they were saying no to. Another response was Republicans. I'm assuming that they were talking about which party has done more for minorities, specifically blacks. I'm assuming they were saying Republicans. And then they said, do you have any proof? Maybe that kind of ties into it. Then they said,
what we talking about.
Yeah. Then they said you need to look at the policies and who passed what. And I appreciate that, because that's what we're going to do over the next week. We're going to look at the policies, hopefully, and we're going to come back next week. And you guys will list the Republican policies, and I'll go ahead and try my best to list the Democratic policies. Then the person says there's no black agenda nationwide. Then they said criminal justice reform, and if you are a stone cold Democrat, it'd be hard for you to take advantage of some things you may not know. Then the person says Reginald Sweeney. And then that was about it. If we ever get more listeners, I'm gonna have to hire a secretary to keep track of these comments that we're getting, because it seems like there's some interesting response. Okay, guys, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give you opportunity to go ahead, because we're coming up on an hour. We try to do about an hour, Aaron. So we're coming up on an hour. We really didn't get through a whole lot of what we wanted to get through, but I think we got through a lot of good stuff.
We did not get through a bunch of that list today.
Yeah. So what we'll do, though, is I'm going to go ahead, Aaron, and let you go ahead and just have some time, brother. Say what you want to say, and then we'll let Jackie do the same, and then we'll close out.
truly appreciate you for having me, man. Can't wait to be back next week. I do like the fact that you did ask for facts. I don't think you understand the can of worms or the mistake you made when you did that. But I like the challenge, man. I think can't wait to next week.
Love you. Go ahead. I have to tell you, I've already checked. That's why I'm so confident. I've already checked more than once. I've already checked more than once. Because one thing you'll notice about me, if you haven't already, is I have a big mouth. I run my mouth a lot. I throw out a lot of stuff. And I don't like having to apologize and have egg on my face. So I do a lot of research, brother. And so I feel confident on this.
I'm glad you said that. And my biggest issue with Obama is the fact that every time a black man or a black woman was killed, that's the first thing he did and talked about his daughter. I feel for them. I have 2 daughters. All I ever learned about Obama his entire office is that how he felt about his girls, and he had a left-hand jump shot. That's all I know about that man. Well, he had 8 years.
Okay. Now, so now I'm going to have to put a little atom to that, and I'm going to have to state some stuff that the brother did for us, specifically that he did for us too. All right, Brother Jackie.
Hey, look, like I say all the time, these conversations here are absolutely needed. We don't always have to agree on it. We can agree to disagree, but this form of dialect is where the change starts. It is amongst us, working on us, talking about serious issues, because I think there's a stigma out there regarding especially black men, and we're not into politics. We don't want the best for our families. We don't want the best for our community. We don't want the best for society. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So I think we have a responsibility to continue to put out this kind of content, this level of content, this level of discourse also. But everybody know I get heated, get amped up. Pop can get heated and amped up. Y'all meet my brother right now. I guarantee you he can get heated and amped up. So, but at the end of the day, it's always respectful, and it's always going to come back to, hey, better together than we are apart. Let's continue to have this conversation and push that needle down the road.
Okay.
So, thanks for listening today. Appreciate your time, and I'll land.
All right. Also, what I'll do is the other listener is referred to as Porcupine, and Porcupine made a couple more comments here. One of them was that they said, I would love to see what he did for us. And I'm thinking Porcupine is referring to the comment I made about what I think Barack Obama did for us. And Porcupine also said that they ran for public office in New York City. So they consider themselves a politician. So, all right. So Porcupine, thank you for joining in. And like I said, I'm going to try to do a better job. Next week, and have I got my assistant over here, my daughter. She, I'm gonna have her do a better job of trying to follow your input, because it seems like you're the only one that's kind of listening in. But again, I appreciate you. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, if that's the case, then since she's black, we cannot fire her, because all of a sudden that's gonna be a bigger problem.
I got you. I got you. All right. And again, I want to thank you guys, and thank you, Porcupine, for joining in. And listeners, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you. We're out of here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. See y'all next week.
Think it through, people.